Krishna, artist in oils, acrylics, and I've been painting this abstract. So let's see how it goes. Mostly I have been painting figures, landscapes, cityscapes, so something quite different. And recently I've started doing what I've always wanted to do, which is abstracts. And I think I'm really enjoying it. I'm really going for it and in the flow and loving it. So let's hope it turns out as nice as I feel. Painting I started as a pure abstract, and now towards the end I'm veering towards giving it some form or a hint of forms rather, because I can see something over there which interests me. I can visualize a figure who's sleeping and dreaming, and he or she is dreaming of some random different objects which I'm placing here and there on the canvas, because dreams are indeed random and not really necessarily describing something accurately. So it's actually true what they say, that when you have blank white canvas in front of you, it can be a little bit intimidating or difficult to really start painting on it. So generally, traditionally what I've been doing is I'm a planner, and I already know in advance, I've selected the theme. That's the way traditionally I have been painting. So then sometimes I have a base color, like this time I put black. And that has, I think, really helped me to keep the paint very fluid, when I start to paint on top of the black. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I directly just go for an outline. I use black, or I use some color. In fact, I can use red or whatever. Outline the image which I have in mind, and I directly go from there. I don't feel the need for a base layer very often, but I think with this experience of this painting and the last few paintings where I've used black in the background, I feel that it does give me a certain visually it's I think it's better finally. The product is also better, and paint on slightly wet paint is also, I think, more interesting. So I would ideally like to finish off my paintings in one go, in one day, and if not in one, then maybe in 2 sittings. I find that earlier I've been lingering over my paintings maybe for a week or sometimes more. It's not a very spontaneous process then anymore, because a lot of thought goes into it, and ideally I would like to be more in the flow and more spontaneous, and I go where the painting leads me. That's the way I think I'm enjoying it now. Whether it's my style or not, time will tell. I like to add texture. Not always. Previously I have loved just the feel of the brush, the thick flowing paint, the fluidity of it. I've loved that also. And I've painted rain and water flowing and so on. So I love that, but I keep coming back to adding texture in different ways, because I think that gives its own joy. It's like that luscious feeling, that yeah, I'm almost like sculpting something, and it's adding that certain element, adding that certain 3D effect, of course. 3D is there, no doubt, but just the pleasure of the of the knife or the brush moving with some resistance, on the canvas, and with something different, something other than the paint interacting with the canvas. That has its own charm, and it gives you a certain sensory pleasure, I would say. Painting is all about sensory pleasure for me. I love to paint because obviously if it's not giving me pleasure, I won't do it, but time flows. I lose count of time. I don't know how many hours I've put in, and basically it's the joy. That's the reason why I like to paint, because it's creation. Sometimes it's frustrating also because you're not getting anywhere, or you're not able to sort of paint you have a certain vision or something in mind. So you have to let go. I think you have to let go of expectations and planning after some time, and you have to just sort of paint and let the painting go where it wants to go. For any artist, they want the viewer to pause, they want the viewer to reflect, to feel something. We don't know what's going on through his mind, right? We can only guess, but sometimes the viewers come up to the artist and they really explain what was the connection, what they thought about it, and they take that effort to come and to talk to the artist. They actually feel some much deeper connection. Sometimes they find a meaning which even the artist didn't know could be there in the painting. So I think that it's very different for different people. The very least I would say is that you want the viewer to at least experience visual pleasure. Finally, it's a visual medium, painting. And sometimes thought doesn't come into it. Sometimes interpretation or meaning doesn't come into it at all. Sometimes I think it can be, and a viewer should be free to just experience visual pleasure in the way the strokes are being made, in the way the palette knife or the brush, the strokes, the colors. Sometimes it's just the beauty of the colors, and sometimes it's about the beauty of the execution of the strokes, which you will find fascinating. All such reactions are equally valid. Wonderful to have any reaction at all. So what you want is for your painting to pull in the viewer, and for him to really appreciate, feel something, and who knows, find some meaning in it.